Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Demo, the show where I take a look at upcoming games and prototypes of old ones. Old ones indeed, both thematically and by the fact that this game looks like an early 2000s PC game. Personally, I don't mind the graphical style, it's actually quite charming in its own weird way. I have a weird nostalgia for that era of games. Now, if only the charm would apply to the rest of the game. Yeah, this seems to be about right. Starting off well and going even better. The menus are practically unusable with mouse since the cursor interaction point seems to be about an inch higher than the cursor itself. This is always peak game design. I love it when video games do this. Well, once the game actually starts, you get a vague story bit telling you that your brother is missing and you have to go find him. It's all in this weird VHS kind of filter, but the rest of the game isn't, so I don't know, it's kind of like a clash of styles. I was half expecting a puppet combo style filter here, but it just ends up being a very early 2000s looking PC game. Well, so far so basic. What isn't basic, though, is the decor. I don't know how to feel about this. It's extremely immersion breaking. Also to be noted is that you arrived on the scene with your specifically yellow car. Starting with the first puzzle, it all seems to be going quite well for this game. In a classic horror game fashion, you go around collecting keys, opening doors, and just looking at the very decrepit place that is apparently a church, and try to make sense of this all. While this is all fine and dandy, the cracks start showing rather quickly. Like, for example, when you click on something, the previous door you interacted with makes a noise. Or not even that, sometimes you don't even have to interact with it, it just has to be closed, like the closest door to you starts making a noise. So you kind of have a built-in door tracker in the game. It's like you are using sonar to make doors go bang so you know where they are. Not all doors though, they have to be these specific metallic doors. Only they somehow make a sound when you press the interact button. Once you actually get a weapon in the game, it's a yellow metallic knife. The character swings the knife like a machete and basically hits everything with the handle of it. Like, sometimes the animation does look like you are actually swiping with the blade itself, but most of the time it just seems like you are trying to bonk things with the handle. I mean, sure, there seems to be a small blade at the end of the handle as well, but why just not use the blade? Not that it matters, the basic enemies seem to go down rather quickly either way. The worst part of the game, however, has to be how the text boxes work. When they work. There's a hole carved in the... There's a hole carved in the stone... There's a hole carved in the stone and a... There's a hole carved in the stone and a hook... And a hook protruding from it. Ah! The way it works seems to incorporate every single thing I hate about how games handle their text boxes. 1. The text scrolls really slow, and it cannot be sped up. 2. After the full message has appeared, it disappears very quickly without staying on screen until the player is ready. And 3, you also cannot make it go away faster, you have to wait for it to disappear on its own. Third point is especially bad, since you cannot do literally anything while there is text on the screen, making you completely vulnerable whenever there is text hovering on the screen. Like, you could get attacked, you can't attack back, because there is text on the screen. You can't attack, you can't interact with anything else. Mind-boggling how this got even to a demo version of a game. Like, this should be like the basic level of game making. and it annoys me to high hell. I'm assuming this is why when you actually do find your brother, the game actually stops entirely while there is text on screen, since this scene also triggers an enemy outside the room. Would be very inconvenient to be stuck in lore while being mauled by a tentacle monster. Doubly so, since it can actually hit you through walls, it seems. Either that, or your brother is giving you one hell of a smack on the booty every time you turn around. I'm not sure what I did to hurt the enemy's feelings, though. Just walked away after a while. Another time when the text system makes the game infinitely worse is with this specific puzzle. There are 3 sections of text here, and the meat of it is in the middle one. Considering how the text boxes work in this game, every time you need to read it, you have to wait through the first part, try to read the second part as fast as you can while also trying to make sense of it, and then wait for the third part to appear and disappear again. You could screenshot the text or take a photo of it, but that is not acceptable when the solution would be so much simpler. Let the player read at their own fucking pace! I ended up just forcing my way through the puzzle by mashing the statues until it randomly solved itself. Oh jeez. Other smaller problems in this demo include light effect pop-in, badly scaled objects and effects, finicky interaction points, small invisible walls for no reason, and occasionally too large interaction spots, like this corpse. Touching it from a certain side opens the door next to it. You also cannot close doors, they close on their own. This, though, could end up being an even bigger problem, since, let's imagine a scenario, you are touching an object next to a door, you end up opening the door and there is an enemy behind it. But now the door is open, you cannot close it, and there is a text box on your screen telling you about whatever you tried to touch, and you cannot fight the enemy because there is text on the screen. This game, or well, this demo in this case, has a lot of small problems that when stacked up could result in even bigger problems. In a worst case, they could make this game nigh unplayable. This is something that every game developer should take notice of. I'm not pretending to be a game developer, I don't even know anything about game development itself. But still, these are such small things that could entirely destroy a game, and in this case they did for me. Like, I saw trailers for this game, I saw screenshots, and thought, hey, this looks like an incredibly fun looking indie horror game. But after playing the demo, I don't feel like buying the game. I'm not excited about it anymore. This is why it's a good thing we have demos, because then you can actually see if you like the game. But it would be nice if when making the demo, you could make it at least playable when you release it. I mean, sure, this was playable, barely. Like, there are just so many problems with this. At least the music is actually really good, so whoever wrote it did a good job. The bad sound design this game has does work against even the music. As, like, for example, when standing next to this door, the music starts and stops completely depending on whether you look at the door or not. This could have been one of those so bad it's good games, but with this many problems, I don't think I would even enjoy it like that. Well, at least I got some entertainment out of the enemies. Mikä backflippi! After the demo is over and you are returned to the menu, both the mouse and arrow keys mysteriously cease to work. WASD still works, but for some reason hitting exit just moves the selection back to new game. Thankfully Alt F4 still works. Yeah, this was a... yeah. No.